Hey Craig, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Really excited to talk to you tonight about your tech transition. I understand that you are transitioning from being a teacher.
Yes. Yeah. I
That's
was a teacher.
awesome.
Yep. I was a teacher for about 10 years. Started off teaching fifth grade math, reading, science, social studies, and then transitioning to teaching high school and being the head varsity boys basketball coach.
So, what made you decide to transition into tech and into Linux?
Oh, well, I've always been interested in technology. I was a teacher that other teachers would go to help them with their computer problems, to help them get things to print out. But there were so many reasons why I transitioned. Um, Probably the main reason was that technology was and is something that I can get lost in. So I can go in my office and work on projects and labs. And I had that same feeling that I had when I was playing basketball. Like, this is my third career. I was a professional basketball player before I was a teacher, but I had that same feeling um, from basketball where I could do it and it didn't really feel like work. It was enjoyable. So I
Sure.
can get lost in it, and I love the fact that you can continue to learn, and it's so broad. You can pivot to different areas of technology. So that ability to grow within the field really drew me to it.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's definitely a need for that desire to continue to learn in tech, right? That's what helps bring people to success. And now you have successfully transitioned. So you are a technical support engineer at ServiceNow, and you were able to get a job after completing your classes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you're in the CrowdStrike cohort and you've already really made the big leap, right?
Yes. Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Yeah. Got ahead of schedule a little bit. Yeah.
so now that you've completed your Red Hat certification, you have a new job. How do you feel like all of your time with Yellowtail Tech? How do you feel like it's contributing to your success?
Oh wow. So much. I would say three areas really contributed to me being able to land a role. The first was probably networking, um, just overall utilizing LinkedIn, really being active and building my network throughout my time in the program, and even reaching out to personal contacts within my network, either past teammates or past coworkers. I think just setting the tone that I'm going to put my story out, what I'm trying to do, and be open to feedback, not necessarily asking for jobs, but more so asking for advice on how to make myself more valuable and more of a desirable candidate. So I was very active on LinkedIn, uh, and Yellowtail promotes that heavy, like make sure you're networking.
We sure
Um,
do.
yeah, and then I would think the second area I focused on was developing my soft skills. And I think my background in sports and my background in education definitely built a lot of as far as my interpersonal skills, what I bring to the table. And then being at Yellowtail really honed those skills. So at Yellowtail, my instructors really focused on teaching us how to ask questions, how to sound confident when asking questions, how to communicate certain technical skills. I think that was helped me take my skills and pivot them to IT, because asking a good question is a skill. They say there's no dumb questions. That's true, but you also don't, in a fast-paced environment like technology, you do not want to waste anybody's time, and you just want to be efficient and get the information that you need. So Yellowtail definitely helped me hone those soft skills. And then I would say the third thing was the big thing is the technical skills. Had it it really is, it really was a privilege to be able to learn from industry insiders, people who are seasoned veterans in currently working in the industry, um, or companies that I would love to work at, and it was just great. Everything we got was um, industry best practice. So, and I think as opposed, I probably could have learned things outside of here and it would have took longer and I probably would have got sidetracked and I probably would have learned a lot of fluff that I didn't need to know. Yellowtail was very efficient and surgical in what they were teaching. So far as the structure of the program, far as teaching us the ins and outs of how it's implemented in an enterprise environment, that was so valuable, especially for me coming from an environment like a public school,
Right.
trained
Yeah.
in the IT, and now I'm in a corporate environment. So, yeah, I would say those three areas: networking, developing my soft skills, and developing my technical skills.
That's awesome. And that's a huge transition. You touched on a lot of really important points, but a lot of people, I think, don't talk about, right? Not only are you transitioning into tech, but you're transitioning into corporate, a space where
Yeah,
not everybody has been it,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Right,
So
right.
those soft skills become even more critical when you're changing
Mhm.
work environments. So that's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that you were able to almost immediately recognize the value of not just the technical skills, but the soft skills as well. And you mentioned a lot about networking. We do push networking very hard. So I'm happy to hear that you received that message
Yes,
and,
yes,
and
yeah,
took it to
definitely.
heart. So in your networking, what do you think was most effective with your networking approach?
I think consistency. I think being consistent, and I honestly got ghosted a lot by different people. I would have a connection that would reach out to someone for me and try to make the connection, and they wouldn't get back to me. And so
Sure.
I think a lot of people could take that and let that deflate their energy. But for me, I just took it as maybe that person's busy or whatever it may, but that's not going to stop the journey. Will continue. So
Yeah.
I think if you have a plan, such as I'm going to reach out, or I'm going to build 100 connections a week on LinkedIn, stick to the plan. Even if you fall short a week, stick to the plan and continue. If you say you're going to reach out to 5 recruiters a day and you don't hear from any of them, the journey still continues. You still reach out. So I think that consistency, also coming from a place of trying to add value and build yourself up to add value instead of coming from a place of necessarily like, what can you do for me? Can you give me a job? Because it was, for me, it was always about what can I do? Actionable items that I can do on my end. And then when people did get back to me, I made sure I followed up and let them know that I was thankful and show that gratitude to build long lasting connections. But yeah, it was definitely consistency, being humble about it, and utilizing your entire network, because I think what gave me a leg up was that I do have prior work experience. And so I use that network as well. Some people might
Awesome.
shy away or might think that it's a detriment being older. No, like I said, this is my third career. But the benefit of being older and having and being a career person who's in a career transition is that you already have a network. And IT
Yeah.
is so big, maybe in your field that your coworkers didn't necessarily work in IT, but they probably know someone who works in IT or have family members who work in IT. So I exhausted my entire network, and I benefited from that. I came across a great mentor. She's great. She's really taught me a lot, and so with that, and in tune with my mentorship from Yellowtail, um, it just made for a great village
Yeah.
for me to lean on and be successful.
Yeah. We take a lot of pride in the Yellowtail tech community and
Mhm.
everybody kind of building each other up. So we're thrilled to have you be a part of it as well. Tell me, what was the most challenging part about your classes?
Um, I would say the most challenging part about my classes were that just the sacrifice. I'm a dad, I'm a husband. And for me, I was also like, I hopped back into school. I didn't finish school yet. I didn't finish my degree. I still have like a semester left. And then I'm in this program, this like setting into the program. So and then I had a full-time job on top of that. So that's the pie, and it's divided into all those pieces. And I'm a very hands-on dad. I tell everybody, like, I'm not a part-time dad or a part-time husband. I'm a full-time husband, full-time dad. Those jobs mean things to me. And so it is a sacrifice. And I would say that was probably the biggest part, the hardest part for me. Meaning, like, I'm coachable, so I know I can learn. I know how to learn. So Yellowtail provided all that structure and instruction. So it was just mainly understanding that, hey, this is a sacrifice it entails for this duration in order to come out better on the other end. And so just dealing with that, and so if everybody in the family is on board. And it was also a motivating factor because my kids see me be in school. They seen me like struggle with concepts and keep working and overcome and learn things. And so at the end of this, they seen the whole journey. They seen dad struggle with something and then accomplish something. So that is invaluable for me to be able to provide that model, that present model. And that's going to be ingrained in them, forever. Like, I see my dad do that heavy lift. So but for me, that was the hardest. For some people, it might be because we definitely get into some harder concepts at Yellowtail, things that you just can't Google. So it is a journey to be an engineer. You start off, you're not you're a beginner, but by the end of it, you definitely feel like an engineer as far as how you're thinking. But yeah, that answers your question.
Yeah. No, that's tremendous. Yeah, thank you. So, we always have, new students coming in. One single piece of advice do you think you would give a student that's coming into Yellowtail Tech on how to make the most of the experience and be the most successful?
I would say, remember your why, and make sure you have a big why before you do it, because it's not easy. Everybody will make some type of sacrifice, and you will have a struggle. It could be your time that you're sacrificing. It could be that that Linux is just not second nature to you. It's something that you have to work at. It might be that the networking portion of the class is not easy for you. So during that whole process, you have to remember why you're doing it, and you have to protect that why, and then that why should be able to push you through, and then also protect your mindset as far as like surround yourself. And my cohort was great. Surround yourself with positive people who are thinking positively and thinking that this is achievable. All right, because you're doing something great. You're skipping entry level essentially and going to like mid-career. You're getting paid a mid-career salary, so you're doing something. It's a heavy lift. It's something that you're being prepared. You're getting prepared to add value to a company. That's why they're picking you up. So I think through all that, just having that why and refer back to it often when things get challenging. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. All right. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. And congratulations again on your role at ServiceNow. We're so happy for you and can't wait to see what you do next.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you, Courtney.
Thanks.